Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. Lots of discussions in regards to Beatrice, the witch, along with her epitaph. And I'm not one for riddles or puzzles or anything, but I do have to say that it is quite the interesting read. I get nothing out of it. I think everybody is kind of looking a little bit too deeply into it at face value, but also it can be a bunch of garbage. Hard to say, you know? Along with everything else that we've seen so far, the supernatural hasn't necessarily stuck out to me yet. I'm sure that once nighttime hits and this lovely storm hits, which I think is about to, I think that's what George is questioning here. Yep, there we go. Yeah, I do feel like the supernatural will be coming up, because that's always when the supernatural comes up. If it's ever going to, it's definitely going to be when things are a little spookier, when, you know, there's not a whole lot of light sources outside, when the forest that is just next door to the big mansion becomes just a little bit scarier. Yeah, I mean, come on. As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for a raindrop to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger. There's a F1 driver this year. When he was racing, he was reporting to his team that he could have sworn that he felt like a raindrop or something, but then he thought, oh, it's probably just my sweat, and everybody told him, yeah, it's just you. I mean, there could still be some moisture in the air. Shunun-chan looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now. Oh yeah, what is the time? It was 3 o'clock whenever these guys got out here to the beach. So yeah, it could be around 4 or 5.
はい、皆様と一緒で楽しい時間を過ごさせていただきました。ありがとうございました。
You know, I feel bad for her and Kanon, but this is kind of just their lives for whatever reason.
熊沢さんにクッキーをごちそうさまって伝えてね。さあみんな、片付けを手伝おう。
Shunun-chan declined our help, saying that this was a servant's job. But picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. You know, we're polite. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up. I also don't really know what she's so excited about in regards to chasing after trash, but whatever. To Maria, chasing after some trash sent flying by the powerful winds was just another game. Well, there we have it. Oh, fuck. Not this again. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back.
皆様のおかげで助かりました。ありがとうございました。
もう本当に時間がないみたいだね。先に戻っていいよ。
George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left.
源氏さん、時間には厳しい人だからな。定時に持ち場についてないと厳しそうだぜ。
また後でね。お仕事頑張ってね。
はい、それでは失礼させていただきます。
After making a respectful bow, Shunun-chan ran towards the rose garden.
じゃあ、俺たちもゲストハウスへ戻ろうぜ。テレビでも見てくつろがせてもらうさ。
Hey, yo, we got some TV here?
テレビ見る。
なら決まりだな。戻ってみんなで一緒にテレビでも見ようぜ。
I don't know, like, did they ever show that there was like a TV anywhere here? I was always thinking this place was like set back in time, but no, I guess I'm the fool. Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. Now that we know a little bit more about this guest house, it definitely gives me a different opinion of it. But then again, I mean, it's a very nice building. Everything here is really nice, except the sky. It looks a little grim. The wind had grown very strong, and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on the water. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. I'll bet tonight's typhoon ruins them.
バラ、今夜の風でやられちまうかもしれないな。
そうだな。バラたちもラッキーだったと思うぜ。台風の前にバトラたちを歓迎できたんだからよ。
花はいつか必ず散る。でもだからこそ咲き誇る今をめでることができるんじゃないかな。
そうだな。マリアもよく目に焼き付けとけ。今この瞬間が今年で一番のバラなんだぜ。
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna look not as lovely come tomorrow, if we can go outside tomorrow.
目に焼き付ける。
Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands. It looked like she remembered something. Didn't she have like well, according to George, a perfect, or not a perfect rose, definitely imperfect rose, but a rose that was supposed to be hers?
マリアのバラ。
Yep, there we go.
台風で飛ばされちゃう。
ああ、ジョージの兄貴に目印のリボンをつけてもらった。
Maria apparently remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her.
あれはどこだったっけな。
Is it already gone?
確かこの辺だったと思ったぜ。
We searched everywhere around that area, but it was only a single flower among all of these roses after all. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, we weren't able to find it. The winds making up the typhoon's front lines made roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find.
ここじゃなかったかな。少し手分けをして探してみようか。
Yeah, we've got time and a little bit of daylight still.
そうだな。人海戦術で行こうぜ。なんだよ、マリア。
Yeah, wait a minute, what the fuck? What's her problem? Come on, we're not giving up yet. As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. You could tell that she didn't want us to leave that spot.
なんだよ、どうした？
マリアのバラはここなの。ここにあるの。
でも現にないぜ。この花壇の裏側だったかもな。みんなで探せば早いぜ。
ここなの。マリアのバラはここなの。探して探して。
Okay, just calm down, please. Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She pointed at the spot and said it was definitely there, but in actuality it wasn't. Even so, Maria got mad when we said that we were going to search elsewhere. I mean, kids probably have way better memories. Let's go with that. They can remember things a lot better than, I guess, adults, maybe? I don't know. But also they can be wrong. They can have a misinterpretation of where things are. We were at a loss for what to do. For a while, we had to stay near Maria and pretend to search throughout that rose thicket. I don't know, guys. Maria's not going to be happy, and I feel like that's a bad thing.
ない。
Maybe she's saying that it should be here, but it isn't. Maria became increasingly irritated. Yeah, I'm seeing that.
マリアがすっかり機嫌を損ねちまったぞ。
マリアはたまにすごくどうでもいいことを気にし始めちゃうんだよ。
You know, I also care about pointless stuff at times.
それがどうにかなるときはいいんだけど。
ないものは探せないしね。困ったな。
Just when we were at a loss of what to do, Maria called out in a loud voice. We could see Aunt Rosa in the direction Maria was waving her hand. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Aunt Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over.
あらあら。どうしたのみんな。
I'm not really sure myself.
何か探し物なの？
確か俺の記憶が正しけりゃ、すぐ手前の目立つところに生えてたはずだぜ。
You know, one of the servants may have removed it.
足が生えてどこかに行っちまっ
Like
た
they
んじゃな
may
きゃ。
have just gotten rid of the
他の場
rose.
所だったと思うぜ。マリアの記憶違いじゃないのか？
Calm down now.
バトラが信じてくれない。
Jesus.
そのうー言うのをやめなさいって何度言ったらわかるの。ママも探してあげるから静かにしなさい。
Okay. I had never seen Aunt Rosa be anything other than kind and gentle, so her anger surprised me a bit. Honestly, I think that's pretty normal for like a mother to like deal with their child whenever they're being, you know, annoying. So, no, that's totally understandable. Aunt Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. But we were already more than sure it wasn't around here. So it didn't take long for Aunt Rosa to realize that too.
ここにはそのバラはないわよ。他の場所の間違いじゃない。これだけたくさんのバラがあるんだから。
違うの。ここにあるの。ママも信じてくれない。
Yeah, maybe I'm also missing something, but like, I don't know what she is expecting. Like, I think a child should also understand that like, if something is visibly not anywhere in the area, it's not here. Yet she continues to say, it is here. Does she mean something else?
ちゃんと信じて探してるでしょ。でもないじゃない。
でもここなの。ここにあるのにないの。
I'm gonna be so annoyed by her ooh-ooing before I know it.
じゃあ誰かが抜いちゃったんでしょ。とにかくそのうー言うのをやめなさい。
Oh, lovely. It's about to get so fun.
返して返して。
Oh my god, dude. It's so loud for me especially.
そんなの知らないわよ。やめなさい。そのうー言うのやめなさい。
You know, another thing here with Rosa, she's probably very pissed based on everything that she just had to go through with the rest of her siblings. So, yeah, she's probably not in the best of moods. Oh, shit. Aunt Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. In that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected, she started yelling even louder. Yeah, she is. God, bro, that is just, it's so loud. Like, it's about on par with like the levels of everything else. Like I'm looking at my other screen here. It's pretty much on level with whatever else, you know, or what other bits of volume that all the characters have whenever they're talking. But like, it's so piercing. It's just, wow.
その変な口癖をやめなさいって言ってるでしょ。
It is weird. I will say that, you know, just another character and her weird sayings. Got a lot of that in Higurashi.
だからクラスの子たちにもバカにされるんでしょうが。
Jesus Christ, what?
いい加減にしなさい。
Okay. Once again, her palm slapped Maria's cheek. This time, she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly loud voice. Aunt Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up.
ローザおばさん、まあまあ、小さい子供のことですし、そんなマジになんなくても。
I tried to cut in with a bitter smile, rubbing my hands together, but Aunt Rosa glared at me with a serious face, and I realized that I should have stayed out of this.
ごめんね。バトラ君たちはちょっとお部屋に戻っててくれる。おばさんはマリアとちょっと話があるの。
Yeah.
誰もマリアのバラを信じてくれない。
What do you mean by that? We literally saw it a few hours ago.
ここにあったのに。探して探してここなの。ここにあったの。
でもないじゃない。なら他の場所の勘違いでしょ。
I don't even know what to say here, guys. This shit just freaking hurts.
ここなの。
Like physically.
絶対にここなの。
じゃあなくなっちゃったのよ。諦めなさい。
どうしてマリアのバラがなくなっちゃうの。
I want to say that one of the servants did it, honestly. Like, they saw that it was marked or something, and they just got rid of it because it stood out.
どうして
知らないわよそんなの。だからその言うのをやめなさい。
What is that even supposed to mean? Like what is that? I know we're like 9 episodes in or whatever, but like, come on now. I'm very curious. Aunt Rosa once again raised her hand, overcome by emotion, and slapped Maria's cheek. It was strong enough to knock Maria over. Christ, okay.
ローザおばさん、いくら娘でも暴力はいけねっすよ。
Okay, so I know it's a very difficult topic for a lot of reasons, especially nowadays, but spanking, you know, hitting your child as like a form of punishment, I'm not really on board with that, but I also grew up at a time where, yeah, I had gotten spanked. I got in fucking trouble whenever I was a brat because I was a brat, straight up. But I don't know, like just doing that over and over again with enough strength to knock your own child to the ground, that's definitely too far. That's not an I think, that is a I know that is too far. I stepped between them to protect Maria, who was still on the ground, crying ooh ooh. I knew that as an outsider, problems between parent and child were none of my business. But I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this.
バトラ君は変に思わないの？
Fuck yeah.
あなたの学校にうなってる女の子なんている？
いや、まあさすがに高校には。でも小学生ならそういう言うのも可愛いじゃないっすか。
可愛い？言うのが可愛い？
I mean, it's the same shit as Rika saying Nipa and whatever else, you know? Just, it's her thing. It's a child making funny sounds or whatever.
可愛いって？
It's just that how she continues to do it is what's a little odd here. Like, regardless of the emotion, it's being tacked on here. My careless words seem to have earned me Aunt Rosa's wrath. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression.
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。マリアがいくつか知ってる？9歳よ。
Yes, she's a child.
小学4年生なのよ。
Which equals a child.
幼稚園児じゃないのよ。
Okay, that's 4 years, well, however you want to look at it, still just under 5 years above that grade. That's what I'm trying to say. She's a child, all right? Like, she's a fucking child. Come on.
それなのにまだクラスで言ってるのよ。わかる？この子クラスでなんて言っていじめられてるか知ってるの？この変な口癖のせいで未だに友達の一人もいないのよ。無責任にマリアのこと可愛いとか言って現実から目をそらさないで。この子の将来のことをもっともっと真剣に考えて。
Okay, that's understandable. I understand where you're coming from. However, smacking the shit out of your kid like that, you know, there's no excuse for that. There's no reason to ever do that. Like, unless you're trying to save their life and they're choking and you really got to just smack the shit out of them, that is a really stupid, you know, counter, but that's the only thing I can think of. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily the time to talk about it, but yeah, I don't understand what's up with Maria either. I don't know why she is so tied up on something that, you know, clearly her Rose is not here. I don't know what she wants us to do. And there she goes.
だからその言うのをやめなさい。やめろって言ってんでしょ。
God damn. Yeah, honestly, Rose is probably just fed up. Like, she's at a point where, like a breaking point, straight up. She's overly stressed. Aunt Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unhappy voice was rising. I tried to stop it, but Aunt Rosa pushed me away. My back hit George Aniki.
昔はローザおばさんもマリアちゃんの幼児言葉の一つだくらいにしか思わなかったんだけど、
However,
小学校の中学年になっても治らないのを最近はだいぶ気にしてて。
yeah, but like, okay, so kids are impressionable. Thank God that wind sound effect is gone. Kids are impressionable. Usually they'll get like certain sounds or words or terms, phrases, whatever from like a kid's show or something. Whatever they're around. Maybe even people. But who the fuck is she going to be around, or what is she going to watch on TV where they're making ooh-oohing sounds that's going to stick with her till she's 9 years old?
別に どういう言葉遣いをしようと。
そのまま社会人にはなれないよ。だから見ていて気持ちのいい光景ではないけれど、これはおばさんたち親子の問題なんだよ。
まあ私もこの言葉遣いのせいでよくお袋に怒られるけどよ。
It's a tough upbringing, honestly.
ゲストハウスへ戻ろう。そしてマリアちゃんが戻ってきたら何事もなかったかのように迎えてあげようよ。それが一番じゃないかい。
I don't know. I don't know how to feel about all this. I've got mixed feelings and mixed opinions. I don't know, man. We thought George Oniki's point was probably a reasonable one, and we may have been eager to use that reasonable sounding argument as justification to retreat from this heartrending scene. Jessica and I nodded at George Oniki, and we all left. We called towards Maria, telling her that we were going to head to the guest house, but she didn't seem to hear, and we felt sort of guilty and shameless after saying it.
それなら好きなだけ一人で探しなさい。ママは知りません。
探す。マリアが一人で探す。ママが知らなくても探す。
勝手にしなさい。
After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to the mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold gesture meant to injure, but that wasn't Rosa's intention. It was because the hand with which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek was still numb. It was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continue slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, Maria was left alone in the rose garden. The wind began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while a raindrop would fall on her forehead. However, Maria could not leave that place. Not until she found that poor wilting rose. I don't want to blame George for all of this, but like he is the one that kind of like set all this up, you know, unintentionally. Like who would have thought that we'd end up here? It had definitely been there. Even so, it wasn't. Even though she knew the place, and even though it had been there, it wasn't. Maria bitterly stared at the place it was supposed to be and thought frantically, maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly stood up, changed her position, and continued to stare. The wind was getting stronger and stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. I mean, eventually it's gonna rain and she'll need to come in, right? Right? We're not, yep, there it is. We're not just gonna leave her out there, right? I mean, come on. Kinzo noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. That is such a cool effect. I dig that. I dig that so much. It's the little things that just make a visual novel more alive, and that is it right there. So whenever I recorded Amatsutsumi, by the way, that was so much fun. I loved recording Amatsutsumi. It had dynamic backgrounds. So, you know, if there's like a little river or something in the background, you would see like a little flow of water. It's just a small little animation, but it made the game feel so much more alive. I loved it. Anyways, it seemed to be pouring down thickly. It had begun to rain later than the weather report had predicted. God damn. That looks very expensive. Everything in this room is really expensive looking, but now those suits of armor, god damn. Kinzo approached the window as if being summoned by the sound of the rain. The sound of rain is a sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence. It makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from the moment they're born to the moment they die. Ah, yes. I too love depressing thoughts. Were those words directed at the rainy sky? There was no one to be seen in the direction of Kinzo's gaze. Yeah, what do you mean by that? Yeah, what do you mean by that? What does that mean, homie? What ceremony? I'm sorry that I have to like ask a question every time this man speaks, but This has suddenly turned very odd.
お前にふさわしい生贄は十分にあるぞ。息子たちが4人、その伴侶が3人、孫たちが4人、私に、客に、使用人たち。どれでも好きなだけ食らうがいい。
Yep, all you need is Kinzo's permission. They don't really have rights. Nobody does here, I guess. They're all set to be sacrifices.
そのルーレットが私を選ぶならば、私すらもお前の生贄となろう。
Yeah, I truly believe that tonight, on this lovely night, with all this rain and all this, mysterious bullshit that is bound to go down, as I guess I'm also predicting, somebody's gonna die. I predict that somebody will die tonight. Out of everybody that we have met, there will be one person that does not make it to morning. At least one person.
それだけの狂気をかけるからこそ、私は必ずや偉大な奇跡を起こすだろう。さあ、好きなだけ食らうがいい。私はそのルーレットに打ち勝つだろう。さあ、すべてを落とすぞ。まずは後ろ宮家の家督を返そう。
Wait, why? What? People want that money.
受け取るがいい。
Kinzo tore the window open, ripped a golden ring off his finger, and forcefully threw it away. At that time, the sound of thunder rang out, giving the illusion that the lightning had accepted the ring.
そして、お前が蘇った時、そこにいるのは私であるだろう。私が最後まで生き残り、お前の目覚めを見守るだろう。さあ来たれ、ベアトリーチェ。ようこそ我が宴。
Man, the things that this man had to say in the fucking recording booth.
私が生み出した
And the ways that he had to say it.
私にもう一度だけ奇跡を見せておくれ。おー、ベアトリーチェ。
Oh my god. Are the lights gonna go out? No? Well, I was close, Damn, that would have been cool. Oh shit, it's 6 o'clock. It's nighttime. Yeah, it gets dark really early, like October, November. Like, it just gets so fucking dark so early. And, I mean, if it's storming out, yeah, get ready for like 4 o'clock to be nighttime too. A news ticker popped up on top of the TV program that we were watching. The disaster report told how many municipal... I have no idea how to pronounce that. Holy fuck. But all over, we're continually sending out rain, flood, and wave warnings. I know what that is, but I have no idea how to pronounce it. Damn. Sorry, guys. I'm just a bona fide idiot when it comes to pronunciations of my words of my own language. Of course, the raindrops beating harshly on the window were even more convincing.
け不利だな。でもこれだけ盛大だとすぐにやみそうな気もするけどな。
Damn, and if it's a nice smooth rain, which it probably won't be, that's gonna be nice to fall asleep to.
そりゃあめぜ。台風の速度が遅いそうだから、下手すりゃ明日も丸一日こんな調子らしいぜ。
Oh yeah, we're gonna be stuck here.
ちょっとの天気でも船は欠航するもんだしよ。
やっぱり日曜日のうちには引き上げられないか。
I sort of thought that we weren't going to anyways. Like, the idea of there being a typhoon, like, you can't really predict how that's gonna move about. So, yeah, we're gonna be stuck here for a few days.
念のため、月曜日に外部とのスケジュールを入れなくて正解だったよ。
ってことは月曜の学校はサボれそうだな。島生活ってのも悪くないもんだぜ。そういや、ジェシカは登校って毎日船で通ってるわけだろ。
Okay, so we can finally ask about her school situation, because I'm a little curious about that.
船が欠航したら学校はどうなるんだ。カメハメハ大王並みに雨が降ったらお休みで風が吹いたら遅刻してか。
Interesting
船が
reference.
出なきゃ休みになるぜ。もっともそう甘くはねえけどな。大抵その代わりに自習が指示されて、 後でかっちりと見られるからそうそう気楽でもねえさ。
Yeah, the idea of, living on an island, yeah, sure, that could be pretty cool. Living on this island, I don't know.
例えば
むしろ投稿できた方が気楽だぜ。自分の部屋じゃ気が散るし集中もできねえしな。
Oh yeah, I feel that. Whenever COVID was going on and I had to switch over to good old Zoom University, that became a little bit more difficult for staying focused on some things. Now, when it was time for finals and shit, man, you better believe that I was majorly focused. I made sure that I had no distractions.
それでいて問題集ばっかり数日もやらされてると
It's just, yeah, a little bit more difficult than actually going to school. I will admit.
大学の時にはよ、寮のあるところに入ってさっさとこんな不便な島はおさらばしたいもんだぜ。
へえ。じゃあよ、ちなみに行きは天気が良くても帰りは悪くて結構ってな
Ooh,
ったら
good
どうするん
question.
だ？
Good question.
学校に泊まるのか？
そういうのはよくあることだぜ。だから祈祷できない人用の宿泊所があってよ、そこに寝泊まりするんだよ。下手すりゃ数日間家に帰れないこともあったりするぜ。
乗車率が 200% を超えるような満員電車で毎日通勤通学しなければならない人から見てみると、船の通学なんて趣があって良さそうだ
No, that
な
would suck.
な
That
ん
would
て無
suck.
責任に思っちゃうけど、
As someone that had to commute to university by bus, no, this shit sounds somehow way worse.
やっぱりいろいろと苦労があるんだね。
よく無神経な観光客がそういうこと言ってるぜ。私は島の生活なんてもう早く高校出てこんな島とはおさらばしたいぜ。
高校にだって全寮制のところとかあったろうよ。なんでわざわざ新島の学校を選んだんだよ。
私は最初からそれを希望してたぜ。
I don't think she was necessarily given the choice.
でもおふくろがよ、当主後継ぎとしての修行やらマナーやらがうんぬんってうるさくてよ、結局高校も地元になっちまったのさ。はあ、こんな島はごめんだぜ。早く都会で生活したいよ。雨が降ろうが槍が降ろうがラフな格好でサンダルを履けば5分足らずでコンビニに行けるような都会に引っ越したいぜ。
Careful, it's going to be a whole lot louder in the city compared to where we are currently. That's something I had to learn.
もう少しの辛抱だよ。
Once you get into like a major city like where I was for university, god damn, it's just noisy as hell.
高校卒業まであとちょっとでしょ。
そのちょっとも我慢できねえぜ。
Jessica stretched out and reclined on the sofa. Maybe it was a bad time slot because there weren't any interesting programs on, and we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. And after that episode, Maria never returned to the cousin's room after all. Aunt Rosa probably took her back to the mansion. It had to be pretty boring for Maria all by herself, while the adults had a confusing conversation. Well, she was left outside to look for her Rose. She's probably still out there. We thought we might as well head over to the mansion to see her, but the weather really was awful. And since there wasn't much time until dinner, we stayed where we were. Oh, we're getting summoned. At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered.
お食事の準備が整いました。
Oh, hello.
お屋敷へお越しください。
It was Kanun-kun's voice. Did he go to all the trouble of coming from the mansion in this range just to get us? Do they not have, like, phones? Yeah. Couldn't he have just called us on the telephone? Well, I guess servants at work don't always get to take the most efficient route. I was gonna say, like, wouldn't they have, like, an intercom system or something? Like, I feel like that would be so convenient.
行こうか。
And it would still, like, be totally okay for a servant to call these guys because it's still summoning them. George Aniki turned off the television and stood up.
俺はとっくにペコペコ。本家の晩餐は毎回凝ってるしな。それにゴーダさん、子牛のステーキとか言ってなかったっけ？たまらねえぜ。
I wonder if Kinzo will be joining this time around. I doubt it, but who knows?
親族会
I
議の
think
日
things are
は
about
特
to
に
get
豪華になる
really
しな。
interesting.
私だって楽しみだぜ。行こう行こ
As we left the room, Kanun-kun bowed silently and respectfully.
う。じゃあ行こうぜ。外の振りはだいぶひどいだろう。
I'm gonna say yes.
はい。お召し物を濡らさぬよう。十
After seeing the three of us out, Kanun-kun peered into the empty room.
マリア様はいらっしゃいませんか？
一緒じゃないぜ。ローザおばさんと一緒じゃないのかよ。
Haha. Lovely. Oh, this is going to be great. Maria's probably still out there somewhere. That or... Oh, here's Rosa. Rosa was lying on a sofa in the empty parlor, having fallen asleep before she knew it. She was bearing a burden that the children could not even imagine. That's why she only needed to let her guard down a little before the wariness immediately dragged her into the world of sleep. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over, her eyes snapped open as though she had been shocked with electricity.
ありがとう。源氏さんなのね。
When she realized that the thing that had touched her was just a blanket, and that Genji had been considerately, giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief.
起こしてしまいましたか。失礼いたしました。
いえ、いいの。寝るつもりじゃなかったから。今は何時なの？
Dinner time. When he was asked for the time, Genji checked a pocket watch that he took out of his chest pocket.
6時を少し過ぎたところです。
Rosa gave her head a little shake when she realized that not much time had actually passed, even though it had felt like she had slept for ages. Even though she didn't feel rested at all, the drowsiness that had enveloped her must have been pretty deep.
ありがとう。毛布は結構よ。変な時間に眠っちゃダメね。すっかり時間の感覚が狂っちゃったわ。
This has honestly been a super long day for everybody.
雨、とうとう降り出したのね。
Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain.
風もだいぶ出てるよね。
Yeah, I wonder when she's gonna remember, oh yeah, I have a child that I left outside.
いよいよ台風なのかしら。
そのようにテレビでは申しております。遅い台風だそうで。
そう、この素敵なバラ庭園も日中のあれが見納めだったのね。
From the window, what she could see of the rose garden was completely blurred by the wind and the rain.
マリア。そうだ。マリアは？
Yeah, what about Maria?
私はお見かけしておりませんが。
Oh, lovely.
ゲストハウスにお戻りではないでしょうか。
Fantastic. Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, so a chill ran down her spine. Maria was stubbornly honest, among other things, and if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever. Even in pouring rain.
違うわ。いとこの子たちは先に行ってしまったから、あそこにはマリア一人。あの子は誰かにもうやめろと言われない限り、たとえ槍が降ってこようとあそこに居続けるわ。傘もささずに。私は感情に任せてなんてこと。
Yeah, I think the stress really took over, and honestly, that does happen to people. It's not a good thing, and I don't think it should be used as an excuse, for what she did, but it happened, and that could be, a plausible reasoning for why it happened. That's still not okay. I'm just saying that there might be a connection here. Even though she had known about Maria's simple honesty better than anyone, she had once again lost control of her emotions and done something terrible. Yeah, it'll definitely bring down her karma points, but Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hall. Yep, looking real good out here. The outside really looked like a typhoon, and the rain was pouring down spectacularly. Maybe because of some aspect of the terrain, the winds weren't typhoon class, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hands. Even so, it certainly was a windy rain. It's also so fucking loud. Even so, it certainly was a windy rain. There was no time to admire the roses being drenched.
とりあえず今はマリアが気になるぜ。まさかあの後もずっと一人でへそ曲げて。
そうだね。さすがにこの雨じゃと思いたいところだけど、マリアちゃんはたまにすごく頑固でものすごく愚直な時がある。
Yeah, definitely. We hadn't worried much, thinking that Aunt Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, when Kanun-kun had come from the mansion to call us and thought Maria was here, we got a little worried.
お屋敷ではお見かけしませんでしたので、てっきりこちらにおられるとばかり。ローザ様は仮眠を取られておいででしたので。
ここに来る途中に見かけなかったのかよ。
申し訳ございません。傘を差し急ぎ駆け抜けたもので。
If he had cut through the rose garden, taking the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, then he would have just barely missed the place where Maria had been looking for her rose. And it was raining this hard, too. It certainly would have been possible for Kanokun to fail to notice her.
ここで議論するより直接確かめる方が早いさ。兄貴、ちょいとかけっこと行こうじゃねえかよ。
6年成長したから僕に勝てるつもりかい？
Oh boy.
よし、決着をつけようじゃないか。行こう。
I like these two. So far, a pretty interesting dynamic, even with Jessica. But oh boy, I'm sure things will change eventually. George, Aniki, and I flew out into the rain. Jessica and Kanokun followed us. I hope everybody's got umbrellas.
ローザおばさんだ。おばさん。
When George Aniki called back, Aunt Rosa jumped at him and grabbed onto him.
マリアはどこ？ジョージ君たちと一緒じゃないの？
いえ、僕たちはあの後マリアちゃんには出会ってません。
6 years ago, Maria had been 3 years old. Yeah, I think that's how math works. She was cute and a pure kid who would just accept whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She's 9 now, and experiencing the ups and downs of life should have taught her something. But Maria, are you telling me that you're still as innocent and pure as you used to be?
Maria!
Among other things, I believe. As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. Maria was crouching down, holding a white umbrella and still searching for that rose. Her face, which had turned bright red from her crying, her eyes out, was dirtied with water and mud, and it was truly a pitiful sight.
お前、まだ探してたのか。
見つからない。マリアのバラ見つからない。
Maria had probably been here since the rain started pouring down. Her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, since she was holding an umbrella, she wasn't completely soaked. The umbrella probably came from the handbag Maria always carried around, sorry. Get my past and present tenses all mixed up. Thank goodness. Seriously, thank goodness.
バトラ君、よかった。見つけたんだね。
Yeah, it wasn't the most difficult of searches, but I feel like getting her away from here is going to be the fun part. Aunt Rosa threw her umbrella aside and hugged Maria. Yeah, we know. It looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Kanokun caught up with us. Yeah, give her a little bit of hope just so we can get out of here. We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. Maria apparently wasn't as worn out as I thought. When she remembered that we were having calf steak for dinner, she started chanting, I'm hungry, ooh, ooh, and returned to her usual spirited self. Aunt Rosa didn't chide Maria for saying ooh. Yeah, she's got a little bit of everything in her bag. Huh?
なんだよ。じゃあその手に持ってる白い傘はどうしたんだよ。
From who? From who? Who the fuck gave you an umbrella? Some caring person must have brought her an umbrella. A normal kid would look for shelter once it started raining, but Maria was too stubborn to give up so easily. So maybe that caring person gave up on telling Maria to find shelter, but then decided to at least give her an umbrella. It's Beatrice, isn't it? She's gonna say fucking Beatrice. fucking god damn it, bro. Holy shit. Woo. All right. The name, I don't know why I did that. Maybe to hide my fear a little bit, because that gives me a bad feeling that things are about to get fucking creepy. The name Maria cheerfully mentioned was that of the island's witch. Oh, this game's fucking awesome. Rosa, god damn it. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to do so in a way that wouldn't damage Maria's good mood.
そうよかったわねそれで誰なの傘を持ってきてくれた人は
おおベアといいチェおお
Maria immediately realized that her mother didn't believe her and started crying out unhappily again. So Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It would probably be faster to ask whoever lent Maria the umbrella during dinner, rather than ask Maria herself. Yeah, that'll narrow it down. Oh, fuck, dude. Oh, boy.
お父さん、せめて晩餐にだけは出席してください。これでは親族会議になりません。
Along with a dull pounding on the door, the sound of Krause's entreaty could be heard. However, that voice seemed to be resigned to the fact that nothing it said would be heard.
金蔵さん、せめて夕食くらいは出んかね。あんたの顔を見ようと息子さんたちが集まってきてるんじゃないか。黙れ南條、ビショップが聞かぬか。言って足りぬ。
Oh, they're playing a game of chess right now. Apparently, Kinzo was completely focused on the final battle of his long-lasting chess match with Nanjo. Kinzo's brow was wrinkled as he continued to glare at the game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice did not reach his ears.
金蔵さん、私も腹が減った。下に降りて食事をせんか。ならばお前だけで行くといい。私はもうしばらくこの一手を吟味させてもらうぞ。今夜で決着をつけてやる。さもなくば、お前との決着は金輪際つけられそうにないからな。
And he really thinks tonight's the night and that's it. Nanjo rose from his seat, hoping this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left the chessboard. He knew well that Kinzo always displayed a blind concentration when it came to chess, but he had never seen Kinzo concentrate as hard as this. It was almost as though Kinzo was telling the truth, and there would never be another chance for them to continue their contest if they didn't finish tonight. It seemed that no matter how obstinately he called out to Kinzo, it wouldn't reach the latter's heart. Nanjo gave up and headed to the door that Krause was still banging on. The door to the study opened. Krause was taken aback, thinking that maybe Kinzo was actually coming out. However, Nanjo was the one who appeared, and Krause let out a sigh of relief.
南條先生、親父殿は。
お役に立てなくて申し訳ございませんな。今や金蔵さんの世界はこの部屋だけです。
Nanjo shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Krause raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting.
お父さん、聞こえますか。私たちは下へおりますが、気が向かれたらいつでもおいでください。息子兄弟一同、ずっとお待ちしておりますよ。
His voice was very loud, and he was making a racket pounding on the door. There was no way it wouldn't reach Kinzo's ears. Well, it certainly was reaching him, but he ignored it anyway. However, unlike the time he had been called down for lunch, he didn't fly into a rage. By now, Kinzo was calm at heart, almost as though he had taken on a philosophical view and turned himself over to fate.
晩餐にも息子たちの顔にも興味はない。私がここを出るのはベアトリーチがよみがえる時か、私が鍵の生贄に選ばれた時だけだ。
Well, if Maria actually got her umbrella from Beatrice, then, well, I got some good news for you, and you get to eat some good old food.
もう悪魔のルーレットは回っている。今さら晩餐に何の意味があろう。
As though the painfully loud banging on the door completely failed to enter his hearing, Kinzo silently thought about his next chess move, still in his philosophical state. I don't think he's coming down to eat, guys. I really don't. Alrighty, we will wrap up the episode here, even so I really don't want to, but I have no idea how long this section is going to be. We are in the 7th chapter, so we're making some good progress, methinks. Yeah, this stuff sure is, man, I don't even know how to properly describe it. I really don't. It's just so entertaining. Even when things aren't happening, I swear to you guys, I am just having a blast. I think it's the setting. I didn't think the setting would be all that interesting to me, but now that I've, got a little bit more into it with where we are, what the circumstances are to, begin and everything, I'm digging it. I really am. So I don't know. Now that there's going to be a sense of unknown and mystery that's going to be crawling up our spines, oh man, that's going to make it so much better. I'm going to get so fucking anxious when I'm recording. But thank you all for watching this one. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it easy.